Hi guys, this is Malik with a new tutorial, and today I will show you how to create a bootable USB flash drive for Windows 10 and install Windows 10 on a computer or laptop. There are two common ways to create a USB drive for Windows 10. The first method, to directly use the media creation tool from Microsoft, in which case all you need is a 16 GB USB drive and an internet connection. The faster the better. The second method is to use a third-party application to create a Windows 10 USB drive and ISO file, which can be downloaded for free. There are several third-party apps. I will be using Rufus. I find it quite easy to use. It has a great interface, and of course Rufus is free. Okay, now you need to open the Microsoft Media Creation Tool download page, go to your browser and search, download Windows 10. Or just open the description of my video, and click the direct link of the download page. Here is this link. On this page, click, download the tool now. Its size is about 20 megabytes, so the download is fast. After downloading, run it. You need to accept the license. Now this is the default option, update this computer. You need to select, create an installation media. But first insert the USB flash drive into your computer. Before starting the process, you should know that the multimedia creation tool will automatically delete all files on your flash drive. There are no files on my flash drive. I have already saved all the necessary data to my computer. Also, I recommend using a 16 GB or larger flash drive. I'll explain that later. Next. On this page, we can see the settings for my computer that the media creation tool has identified. But you can uncheck the box and change the default settings. Choose a language architecture for myself. I will leave the English edition for the USA. There are three options for choosing the Windows architecture: 32-bit, 64-bit, and both. If you are going to install Windows 10 on several computers, then you better choose the option, both. But for this it is better to use a USB flash drive of 16 GB or more to avoid mistakes. If you want to use Windows only 32-bit or 64-bit, then 8 GB USB will be enough, and of course USB 3.0 or 3.1 flash drive can save a little time compared to USB 2.0. Here I will choose both. Next. On this page we have the opportunity to use the USB or create an ISO file, which will later be recorded on the DVD. I choose a flash drive. Next. Here you can go back to check if you made your choice. I click Next, and the process of creating media for Windows 10 began. This state will take quite a long time, depending on the speed of your internet connection and the processing power of your computer. Throughout the entire process, you can continue to work on the computer, or just relax. The process of creating multimedia for Windows 10 has been successfully completed. You can also go to your computer folder to make sure that your USB now has installation files. They should look like mine. So now we are ready to install Windows 10 offline using this USB stick. Method number 2, using a third-party application to create a Windows 10 bootable USB. I will use Rufus here, but before downloading and running Rufus, we still have to download the Windows 10 ISO image file, and it will be very similar to the first method you just saw. Open Microsoft again, download the media creation tool. Click to launch it. Accept the license. Select Create Installation Media. Next. On this page, select the language architecture and release of Windows 10 you want to have. Next. On the next page, you have the opportunity to select a USB drive or ISO file. Here you just select the ISO file option, and click Next. Then choose the location where you want to save the ISO file. I select Desktop, click Save, and wait for it to load. This should be a little faster than creating an installation flash drive. Windows 10 ISO file upload is complete. Click Finish. And now you can see the ISO file on your desktop. Okay, I'll go ahead and download Rufus. Just open your browser and search for Rufus, or just open my video description, and click the direct link of the download page. Here is this link. Scroll down to the inscription, Download, click Rufus 3.13. By this time, when you are watching it may be a different and newer version. After downloading, insert the USB flash drive, and click the Rufus installation file. Before us is the interface of the Rufus program. Here, select a USB device if you have several USB devices, then select the drop-down list to select a disk and select Disk ISO Image, then on the click, select, and find the ISO file that you saved on your computer. Here you need to choose a partition scheme for the disk where you are going to install Windows. There are two options, MBR and GPT. If you are going to use USB for installation Windows on a formatted laptop or PC where there are no disk partitions, then you should use the GPT option during installation. However, if you have partitions other than the C drive, then you need to check the partition layout of your C drive. Open Explorer. Right-click this PC and select Manage. Here you need to select Disk Management. Right-click on the C drive, Properties, Volumes, and then you should see the partition style of your disk. I have an MBR partition scheme, and I would rather choose MBR. After selecting MBR or GPT, I click Start, and the application warns that all files on the USB drive will be completely deleted. I hope that you have already backed up the files from your USB flash drive. Click OK, and now wait for the process to complete. The process is complete. The flash drive is ready, and in the next part of my lesson I will install Windows 10 from my flash drive to my computer. I hope that you familiarized yourself with the system requirements of Windows 10 and compared it with the capabilities of your computer, as well as saved all the necessary files from the C drive in a different location. Since during the installation of Windows, all your data from the C drive will be completely deleted. Installing Windows 10 takes some time, and if you have a laptop, connect it to the power supply. And so, the USB drive is connected, and after restarting the computer, now you need to call the boot menu to boot the computer from the USB flash drive. Sometimes it happens that in the boot menu you will see a different name for the flash drive than what Windows shows us, and therefore you cannot recognize your flash drive, and now I will show you where you can see the name of the flash drive that you will see in the boot menu. Open Explorer. Right-click this PC, and select Manage. Here you need to select Disk Management. Now find your USB flash drive. It can be easily recognized by the label, removable, and also in small size. Right-click, Properties. Here we see its full name from several words, 2, 3 first words or even one word will be indicated on one of the lines in the boot menu. Remember them, please. And so, we restart the computer and call the boot menu. To do this, immediately after the restart, you need to periodically press a certain key. Different devices may have different keys. I have a F9 key. You may have F8, F9, F11, F12, or a key escape. Press the key several times until the boot menu opens. The boot menu has opened. Your menu may look different. Find your USB flash drive and click Enter. Click again, Enter. And now you need to select Windows 10 32-bit or 64-bit. I choose 64-bit. Click Enter, wait a bit. The installation menu opens. I leave everything unchanged. Next. Install now. Here you need to enter the activation key. I click. I do not have a product key, because I have an OEM key on my computer, and the new Windows is activated automatically after installation. You can enter your key. Here I select Windows 10 Pro. Next. To proceed with the installation, you must agree to the license terms. You must select Custom Installation. This is the last page of the menu before installation. I have several disks connected to the computer, and now I need to select the disk where I want to place my Windows. If you also have disks or partitions other than the C drive, now look carefully, because the installer does not assign the letter C to the drive with the operating system, as Windows usually does. At the bottom of the list are two storage drives, each with nearly 1000 gigabytes in size, and they are designated by the installation program number 2 and number 1. Number 0 is assigned to 3 partitions of 1 disk. There are 2 partitions for small system files, 50 and 500 megabytes, and one 111 gigabyte partition, on which the old Windows was previously installed. Now our task is to delete all 3 partitions and create one unallocated partition. I will do this very carefully so as not to accidentally delete my data on information storages. To prepare the disk for installing Windows 10, you need to click New. Then, Apply. The installation program says that for Windows to work correctly, additional partitions for system files will be created here, like those that I previously deleted. Click OK. And now we see 2 new partitions ready for installing Windows 10. Please note that if you mark a small volume partition, a warning immediately appears below that installation of Windows on this partition is not possible. Click the second partition, then click Next, and the installation of Windows starts. For a while you do not need to do anything. The computer will automatically restart several times. You can relax and have a cup of tea or coffee. Please do not turn off your computer. The installation of Windows is coming to an end and now we have to make some settings. Choose your region. Now the keyboard layout. I will be using Windows for myself. Next. If you do not have a Microsoft account, click Create Account, and then follow the instructions of the system until you register, then create your PIN code. I enter my account data, password. Here everyone needs to create a new PIN code. Here I disclaim all offered privacy terms. Accept. It doesn't interest me. I already have a cloud. It doesn't interest me. And I don't need it. You do as you need it. Very little left. The installation of Windows 10 is completed. Now let's see the characteristics of the installed operating system. Open the Explorer. Right-click this computer. Properties. And here we see that Windows 10 Pro is installed with the latest version and the latest build. I hope what I have just told you could help you, and if you found it useful, share it with anyone. Write me a comment. I will answer your questions and try to help. Thanks a lot for watching my video. Good luck.